Auburn gets a stud with Devin Carter's commitment.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zac Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Joining me, recruiting expert Brian Smith, hanging out with us just to quickly react to Devin Carter, the very talented wide receiver, commits to the Auburn Tigers. Brian, just quick summary of how, I guess, your opinion of Devin.
Speedster, makes guys miss, can score from anywhere on the field, would be a threat in the punt return and kickoff game. And he's a guy that quite honestly complements Daenerys, the other wide receiver committed in the 2026 class for the Tigers. This is a big get. He's got offers from Georgia, Florida State, Alabama, you name it. Devin Carter's got an offer.
Yeah. I mean, apparently was used to be committed to FSU as well. 6 foot, 165. But as you said, I mean, can score from anywhere on the field, just as far as just elite speed. I know speed covers up a lot of things at the high school level. How do you see him as a route runner and just like complete package as a wide receiver?
I think he's the kind of guy that you would use with jet sweeps, reverses, and all that kind of stuff, but he's still developing as a receiver in general. At the high school level, even though he plays just outside Atlanta, there aren't many kids that are going to run with him play after play. So it's more like go deep or catch a screen. The developmental stuff, I mean, is a big part of college football, and he still needs to do some of that. But he can get in and out of breaks really well. Now it's just understanding concepts, post-snap reads, which that's a lifelong learning skill. If he does that, he'll play in the NFL because you can't teach.
Yeah. Douglas County. I mean, what kind of program is that for folks who are unaware?
They have a bunch of guys. This is a program Auburn and everybody recruits every year. So that's nothing new for them. This is the kind of player they always have. And quite frankly, it's a school that Auburn will continue to go to year after year.
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this before, the impact of stacking classes. I mean, obviously, Cam Coleman's class with the Freeze 4, Cam and Perry and Malcolm and Bryce, that was, I mean, borderline historic from with Auburn standards as far as acquiring receivers. Took a little bit of a step back. I mean, I like all the guys that they got that are true freshmen now. Sam Turner, Derek Smith, Eric Smith, like those guys can play. Don't get me wrong. But this seems to be lining up to have the chance to be another elite class of wide receivers when you talk about Devin Carter and now Daenerys Gray. I mean, what's the ceiling for these guys?
Well, I think Daenerys is your big-bodied boundary receiver that can go out and be a blocker in the screen game. He's a red zone threat. And he's a really good route runner. He's from Chaminade, Madonna in South Florida. That's where Jeremiah Smith came from, if that helps anybody. And he's also a guy that, again, complementary pieces. You need guys that fit the boundary. You need guys that fit slot or outside out wide. Auburn's doing that. They're getting everything they need to have a complete unit and not just players all at the same spot. So Auburn is in the right position. And there's 2 or 3 good receivers in state that they can go after. I'm sure we'll get into that later this year. But Junior Day is coming up. We'll probably talk about it pretty quick, actually.
Yeah, sure. I mean, when you look at Devin Carter, according to On3, he is the number 4 player in the state of Georgia. I mean, I don't care what position you play. I don't care what school you go to. But if you've got a single digit next to you when it comes to, where you're ranked in the state of Georgia, you can play anywhere in the country.
Well, the state of Georgia, after this past NFL draft, was number 1 in the country for players per capita going to the NFL. That's, by the way, a very important stat. Just want to throw that out there.
Yeah, we take that. We take that for sure. And then the number 6 receiver in the entire country, which obviously you certainly take that as well. All right, I've got a few more questions for you about Devin Carter, the newest member of Auburn's 2026 class. That's next right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show is brought to you by our friends at TurboTax. The message from Intuit TurboTax. Are you tired of the endless waiting, wondering, and worrying about your taxes? Well, now that's a thing of the past. You see, taxes don't have to be complicated or stressful. TurboTax is here to help you change the game by matching you with a TurboTax expert who can get to work on your return right away. No more waiting for answers. TurboTax has you covered. Ready for stress-free taxes and the most money back guaranteed? Well, just head over to TurboTax.com today and get matched with your expert who's ready to take your taxes off your plate so you can focus on your day. Only available with TurboTax Live full service, real-time updates only in the iOS mobile app. See guaranteed details at turbotax.com/guarantees. Brian Smith, recruiting expert, hanging out with us as we react to Devin Carter committing to the Auburn Tigers. As far as upside in this 2026 class, you came on Locked on Auburn just a few days ago, and we talked about how good this 2026 class could be for Auburn. I mean, this is just kind of another block as a building block as his staff continues to put together a pretty exciting class.
Yeah, Auburn's got a chance to have a top 5 class again. This is as good a start as anybody's had in the country, and it's another really good year in state. Coach Freeze and the rest of the staff have prioritized the Yellowhammer State, and again, Atlanta's a big part of that, and that's, of course, where Carter's from. Just recruiting those two areas alone gives you a chance at a top 10 class every year. Then it's just sprinkling a few players. So this would be 3 in a row if they could get this class to be where we think it's going to be on signing day. And then you can compete with anybody from a player-to-player perspective, no matter where you're playing.
Is Devin Carter like, I mean, can you compare him to somebody on Auburn's roster? Is he more similar to like Malcolm Simmons than other guys?
That Simmons is the best comparison.
Okay.
Getting deep and changing what the secondary has to do to react to you. I mean, that's a huge part of what Auburn's going to be doing in the next couple of years. Try to keep guys off, Cam a little bit. Well, which guy do you double? Is it Simmons? Is it Coleman? And then, of course, I got Perry Thompson and all. It's a really difficult test. They're trying to keep that going to make it difficult. And I think Simmons is the best comparison. And by all means, I like watching guys that run by defensive backs because they're track athletes. That's what Auburn's recruiting.
Yeah. I mean, everybody that they've pretty much added, they've got elite speedsters. I mean, I remember watching that like when Bryce Kane committed. Wasn't really ranked highly. I think when he committed, he was a 3-star, and you watch his tape, and it's like, look, whatever. Like, I don't know if this guy is the fastest guy, but he has a knack of getting behind defenders, and that's all that really matters is if you can get open. Obviously, speed and route running and traits help you with that, but if you've got that natural knack and ability to create separation, it really doesn't matter how you do it. Devin, he's got the speed, obviously, so that's going to help translate to the next level.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what he's going to be doing this fall. He'll be a marked man. He'll have to beat some double coverage. I'll probably go see him play, but not many guys are going to run with that. The simple go route is the play that most teams aren't going to be able to handle with him, and that'll continue throughout his career.
Just because of straight speed. Yeah, can't wait to see it.
Wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that. We'll take as many fast guys as possible. That's incredible. Devin Carter, 4-star across the board, 6 foot, 165 player, newest member of Auburn's 2026 class. Brian, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
At FBScout_Florida on X. Going to be quite a bit more stuff still coming with the portal now that the college football playoffs are kind of wrapping up. You'll see some of the kids from those schools jumping in. I'm curious to see where everybody goes. Yep.
Hey, please like the video. Please subscribe. We'll see you next time. This has been Locked on Auburn.